Gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking my top 3 concerns heading into NHL 24. Now before we get into it, I do want to say that I am generally and genuinely optimistic and excited for NHL 24. There's a lot that I think is going to be good, and quite honestly, it doesn't really take much to please me. I mean, it's September and I'm still having fun playing NHL 23. So take that for what it's worth, and let's get into it. So like I said, there is a lot to be excited about for NHL 24. I think the new passing system is a huge W. I think the pressure system is going to be a big change. That specifically, I think, is going to possibly make or break the game. So we're not going to get into that today, maybe in a future video. And then in the grand scheme of things, I think removing the stick your booty out meta and backward skate into the goalie is gonna be a good step to kind of progress the series for the future. It is something that I enjoy doing in NHL 23. At the same time, I feel like taking that out is progress for the game in general as we continue to progress year after year. Now jumping into it, my number one concern for NHL 24 is the just press Y meta. I do not want Michigan goals to be too easy in this game. I think it's something that should be hard to do, but doable. So maybe a little bit easier than NHL 23, but it seems like it's just a bit too easy to do so far in NHL 24, just from what I've read and seen online from people who have played this game. For all of NHL 23, I've only been able to pull off one Michigan goal. The whole time, the whole year. Now, don't get me wrong, I personally am probably going to have a lot of fun scoring Michigan goals if they're, not super challenging. But at the end of the day, that is like not rewarding at all. I would hate to see a play as cool as the Michigan become kind of like an annoying glitch kind of wrap goal that we saw in NHL 23. And I also don't think it's going to be great progress for the game in general if we develop some kind of Michigan meta in the game. Who knows if that's going to happen? Who knows how effective the Michigan will be at launch? Personally, I just feel like it's probably going to be a little too easy, and I personally think they're going to have to nerf it a little bit as we go. My next concern I want to talk about is hip checks. So hip checks seem to be a little too overpowered. Again, that's just from what I've heard from people who have played the game. I can't talk about the beta, so we're not even talking the beta, boys. We're just talking feedback from the community in general that have played the game or that we've seen from footage, okay? The hip checks seem to be a little broken, seem to be a little too powerful, and that comes into play with the new total control system. You just press X for hip checks. With a skill stick, it is still extremely hard to hip check. So my concern, and this kind of plays into the just press Y or triangle for the Michigan as well, is my concern is that with the hip check and the Michigan being so easy to use with the total control, it makes using the total controls almost necessary. And I don't think that's great. I think people that want to use skill sticks should be able to use it and pull off hip checks in Michigan's just as viably if they're just more comfortable with skill stick. And the last concern I had is probably the biggest concern, and it's the AI goalies. I really don't want the goalies to be so weird and awkward and diving on their butts the whole time. I would hate to see NHL 24 just turn into a crash the net meta or shoot for rebounds. I get what they're trying to do. Like, I'm totally fine with if you're controlling zone, if you're controlling the play in your offensive zone for a sustained period of time and the goalie starts to get tired, you can take advantage. I am concerned that at least at the launch of the game, that might just be a little too easy to do, and that's going to be just a little too weird in my opinion. Goalies in NHL 23 were definitely wacky. I didn't hate it. I mean, I hate when weird plays happen that cost me a goal against, right? But I didn't hate it overall. Like, goalies were wacky. It is what it is. It was a bunch of great content from me and just like making funny little moments and clips. But I don't want to see that again in NHL 24. I feel like we should take a step forward, not a step backwards. And honestly, from what I've seen in the trailers and again, feedback from what I've heard online, the goalies, it seems like they have taken a step backwards. We'll see if that changes by the time this game actually launches. So there it is, boys. That is my top 3 concerns for NHL 24. Like I said, I am generally pretty optimistic about the game. I'm probably going to play it a ton. I know I'm going to enjoy it. Lastly, I wanted to mention that there was a few other minor concerns I had, and it just all had to do with random stoppages of play due to like the glass breaking or a player going over the boards or a player running into his own net and just knocking it off and ending play. I noticed that a little bit too much in the trailers, and I don't want that to be a thing on a game that is 1v1 online competitive where you can just kind of randomly have a stoppage of play that takes away a scoring chance. Also, in that same breath, I don't want someone to have the ability to just skate into his own net, knock it off, and cause a whistle. Because especially with that new pressure system, that seems like a kind of cheesy, corny way to get out of that. And that just sounds annoying. And boys, that's all I have for you today. I don't want this video to be super negative because that's not how I feel about NHL 24. I wanted to mention that one more time before we send this video off. Maybe in the future, I'll go over kind of what I'm looking forward to the most, although I kind of actually already did that when I reviewed that very first gameplay trailer. That's on the channel. Go check it out if you missed it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to see more NHL 24 content, please drop a like, and I'll see you in the next one.